Hi there, welcome to the channel, and as promised, it's a special October video. Vassal League starts this week, and I'm going to be playing predominantly Orcs. Yeah, I'm going to be playing Orcs all the way through, as it is currently October. But I'm going to start with Ironskulls. And there was a time back in the day when Ironskulls ruled the roost, a long time ago in the Shadespire days. And I thought it'd be quite interesting to kind of look back and maybe try and see if Gerczak and his boys can cut the mustard in this kind of new meta. And apologies because I couldn't find the name of the person who did this. In 2018, Ironskulls won the Adepticon Grand Clash. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at that list, tweak it for the current meta, the current rule set, and see if we can smash some stuff. Of course, I've got Tommy in the first round, who, if you don't know who Tommy is, he's pretty much won most of these leagues and is a very good player. So another nice easy start for me and the lads. But yeah, let's look at the list and see where we need to tweak it. Okay, so here they are, the fantastic Ironskulls. These are the warband that got me into the game. I saw that they were going to be in the game, and they made me want to play Shadespire, basically. And when Shadespire first came out, it was very much, you had, aggro was really, really strong, and these guys were the strong aggro warband for the first couple of months, and then Fiends came out. But everything you would have kind of expected from warband. Their inspire mechanic is probably their weakness, and their speed because they're very slow. But they inspire when they get damage, and there's particularly in Shadespire, there's loads of ways to manipulate that. Not so much now. You used to be able to charge through lethal hexes, inspire, then attack. Now they have the super action, and it doesn't quite work out like that anymore. And you don't really see Ironskulls about, especially now the big boys are out, the crushers. So I really like the models. I just like orcs. Hence the October theme, and hopefully we'll have a look at this deck and we'll be able to tweak it to kind of make it. You know, I'm not going to win the league with it, but maybe make my opponent have a few thoughts and not really know how to deal with it themselves. So we'll have a look at what the deck is, and it's very aggressive. As you can see, there's lots of cards in here that have rotated out. Not many of the restricted ones, but a lot of the kind of cards that are restricted now weren't even thought of or even out at that point, which is going to be interesting when I start swapping cards out. So I've kind of given myself a rule: if I don't need to take the card out because of rotation or restrictions and things, keep it in, and then try to swap out the card for something as close to as what I can get. It may handcuff me a little bit this time round, but for the first game with this warband, that's what I'm going to do. And then round two, I'll tweak it based on what I didn't like and what I thought was going wrong. But as you can see, looking just kind of scouring these cards, very aggressive and aggro. I really enjoyed playing that style with the Godsworn in the last league, so it's a style that I quite enjoy playing. I've been playing kind of a lot of objective type grabbing in sort of tournaments and things recently, and this is just something nice and different for me. But what we'll do, we'll work backwards. So I want to go through the upgrades first, then do the gambits, and then hopefully that might leave me a bit of space for restricted in the objectives, because looking at what's in there, at the moment, I think I can swap them out for things that are not restricted, which leaves me for kind of like nice easy score and glory, hopefully, in the objectives. But we'll start off, like I said, with the upgrades. We've got Waaagh, which is a great card, +1 damage to any charge actions they make, which they do kind of need, particularly Hacker and Basher, as they only deal 1 damage unless they're inspired. So it's good to keep that in there. But the first card that we're going to be taking out is Awakened Weapon, which is a reroll. So Gerzag gets a reroll when he's inspired. So my thinking of trying to keep this to find a card that's very similar is I want to swap this out for the Amberbone Mace, which is a weapon with rerolls. It is 1 use, and you get that kind of extra gold for doing it. Gold. You get that extra glory for doing it, and I think that's a nice kind of swap. So let's find that. The Amberbone Mace, obviously all the Amberbone weapons are really good. The Amberbone weapons in particular are quite good for Hacker and Basher, who are not the greatest when it comes to dealing out damage. All of a sudden, with the Amberbone weapons, they potentially have a lot more kind of going on with them. So we'll put that in for the Awakened Weapon. The next thing in there that probably, which I need to rotate out, is Demonic Weapon. This was a really good card for the Ironskulls because it used their Inspire mechanic, but each time this fighter makes an attack, they would suffer 1 damage. So they make the attack and then damage themselves. So they would then inspire. So again, I'm going to swap this out for another weapon. I'm going to swap it out for an Amberbone weapon again, just because they're just really good. So the Amberbone weapon, I'm going to swap it out with this. The Demonic weapon does 3 damage, and I think all of the Amberbone weapons do 2. So I'm going to take that out for the Amberbone spear or sword. I'll put the Amberbone sword in, and then we can take Demonic weapon out. Great speed and great strength. Great speed, they are slow, so leaving that in there is kind of a good move, I think. And great strength, you get to add extra damage, obviously, which is good. Again, particularly with Hacker and Basher, and it works with weapons as well, so it kind of does build up. Helpful Whispers. This was a really good card for aggro players. If this fighter has no adjacent friendly fighters, rolls of support are successes when they make an attack action. What do I replace that with? There's not really anything I can replace that with. There's nothing similar. Spirit Bond? Maybe? Is that restricted though? I want it to kind of stay away from restricted. It is restricted. I may have to put Spirit Bond in. That's kind of the closest thing to it. So Spirit Bond goes in. So Spirit Bond instead of Helpful Whispers. Yeah, I'm not too happy about spending that already because it just leaves me with 1 restricted. Light armor. Rolls of a crit on the defense dice are no longer a success for this fighter. Roll an extra attack dice when this fighter makes an attack action. I don't think, again, there's nothing similar to light armor at the moment. Let's have a look at attack. That's stupid. Again, again, need to do championship. All sorts here. Guess Glory Seeker might be the closest thing. Was it extra attack dice? Sorry, I thought it was damage. So let's go with extra attack and see what it brings up. Nothing. There are no upgrades that give you an extra attack dice at all. Wow. Unless it's put as +1. I've typed in +1 and it's brought absolutely everything up. Yeah, it's all +1 damage. +1 damage. I want +1 dice. That's what I want. One of the new gauntlets. Does that have it? +1 damage. That's for raised tokens. Okay, so yeah, light armor. That's thrown a spanner in the works already. I'm really surprised that there isn't one. I'm going to put Glory Seeker in, and we'll just go with damage. That has confused me a little bit. I really thought there was. If obviously put it in the comments. Feel free to completely slate me for missing something. But Glory Seeker, that'll go in. Light armor will come out. Shade Glass Axe, we're going to swap that out for the Amberbone Axe. Oh, I might do the Amberbone Sword, Lance actually. We'll swap that out for the Amberbone Lance. Spear, there we go, sorry, everyone's screaming at me for getting it completely wrong. Amberbone Spear. And then Soul Trap is one that we have to take out next. So Soul Trap was a really good card. Reaction during an attack action or ploy that takes his fighter out of action. If you rolled a shield or a crit, you didn't take any damage, you didn't get killed, but you do discard that upgrade. So I can do a straight swap for that, as they have their own version of that card called Unkillable, which is, yeah, it's exactly the same, but you can only put it on Gerzag. Exactly the same writing, but just for Gerzag. But obviously Soulbound could be put on all of them. So if Gerzag got killed early doors, you could put it on any one of the other chaps. But that's kind of like a straight swap that I could do then. And then the other card that they had was Crush and Cleave, a card for Gerzag and Bone Cutter. Just you get Cleave, which back then was really good. Cleave was such a strong mechanic. You know, you had the Stormcast and you had Fiends that were predominantly shields, and also the Orcs as well. So Cleave, if you had access to Cleave, your particularly in the early days of Shadespire, your warbands were really strong. But they're the upgrades. I think apart from the Glory Seeker, light armor for Glory Seeker, I think I've swapped them out for similar things. But let's now move on to the gambits. Now, obviously, these were all called ploys back then, because magic wasn't a thing. But the Orcs have access to some really good, and they're still really good, because a lot of them have just been transferred over into the Crushers gambits. So let's have a look at the ones that they've got now. So the ones that I need to keep, so Gorkamorka's Blessing, The first attack action with a range 1 or 2, and the next activation has +1 damage. Simple. Leading by example. Now, I never put this one in when I played. I always had cunning but brutal and brutal but cunning. But this is a great card. Basically, if your boss kills someone, someone else can do a charge. So, yeah, it's a good, nice little card to have in there. More chopping. Roll an extra dice for the first attack action. So, as you can see, very aggressive. Distraction. So, I get to push somebody. And now we're going to be looking at the cards that I probably need to take out. Oh, sorry, there's one more that I keep. Boing. Rebound. So many people hate this card. I love it. I've said on many a video now that I like the cards where RNG can just kind of really swing a game. I like the chaos of it all, and rebound is infuriating for everyone involved. Basically, you dish the damage back, so you can. If someone's lining up a kill, you can just bounce it off them and kill the other person. So, but they're quite simple ploys that kind of make sense when you're kind of having a very aggressive attacking warband. So, cards that I need to swap-a-roo. Duel of Wits. Play this when an opponent plays a ploy. Draw 2 power cards. So it's a reaction. So I'm just going to put Unnatural Truce in. I think that makes sense to me. It's very similar. You draw 2 cards. You don't have to do too much. Well, you don't have to do anything in terms of... you don't need to be on a... do I want to do Unnatural Truce or do I want to do the other one? Unnatural Truce. I'll do Unnatural Truce because I'm not necessarily going to be objective grabbing. So I won't need... The other draw cards probably aren't going to work for me. I'm not going to care about holding objectives at all. So, Duel of Wits for Unnatural Truce. Healing Potion. I don't think there is one, is there? There's nothing. Let's type in heal. It's going to have to be a universal card because I don't think... Heal 1 for each fighter that is holding an objective. Is that the only universal healing card? I'm going to come back to that, and I might replace Healing Potion with one of their own cards. Ready for action! This was such a good card. Such a good card. Play this after you upgrade a fighter in your action phase. They can make a move or attack action. And so, particularly if there's so much nonsense you can do, particularly with Gerzag, just flying around and stuff. But there's not much. I don't think there's definitely not a universal card that's similar to that. So I will have to venture into the ploys of the Orcs because they've and particularly now, apart from Crushers, they have access to out of turn attacks. So they have having a good time. Choose a fighter, roll an attack dice. If you roll a hit or a crit, they can make an attack action. That's probably the closest you're going to get to ready for action. So having a good time. That's got him. Need to get rid of ready for action. Spoils of Battle as well. That's a funny one. So play an upgrade card. It doesn't cost anything. Again, that was such a... Everyone took that card. I don't think... there is a card that you can put a free upgrade. Is it one where you kill someone and you put an upgrade? Right, let's look at ploys. This is probably going to bring up a ton of stuff. Type in upgrades. No more power cards can be played. Choose a friendly fighter and an upgrade card from your hand, and you can. Ghoulish Pact. and it inspires me. Yeah, go as packed. We'll put that in. That is, yeah, that's good. That's really good for me as well because I get to, like I said, I get to inspire. So we'll go with a spoils battle, and then trap. Trap. Pit trap. Okay, I can play. I can take trap out for pit trap. However, that is then all of my. I need to go for it. I need to go with it. Them were the rules. So, trap comes out for pit trap. There we go. So that is all of my restricted. So there's not really anything. I can't really think of anything that can replace healing potion. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at. I know exactly what card I'm going to put in. So there is which one? Cunning but brutal. So this is one where you get a free attack action. So that will go in. So those are the gambits. Again, it's very aggro minded, and a lot of orc cards in there, which I quite like. It makes it a nice fluffy list, so I quite like that. Now the objectives. I don't have any space for any restricted. I was hoping to be able to put restricted in here, but Spirit Bond and Pit Trap have kind of stopped me from doing that. But let's have a look, and it is possible to be able to do this. So let's see what we can get away with. So we'll look at the ones that I'm not taking out first. Call of the Waaagh. 3 people charge, score immediately. I think, I'm not 100% sure. I think you can score that after you've pulled, but I will need to double check that. I know you can with the Fiends. So I can't see why it doesn't work for the Orcs as well. Victorious Duel, score this immediately if your leader takes an enemy leader out of action. Gerzag is a killing machine, so kind of honing in on the opposition leader is quite a sensible thing to do with Gerzag. Getting him there might be a problem though. With that in mind, Victorious Duel, get the boss. Score this in an end phase if your warband took an enemy leader out of action in the preceding action phase. Nice. Works well with Victorious Duel. However, they do need to be in the same hand, which could be a problem. Annihilation. Score this in an end phase if all enemy fighters were taken out of action. Scored a lot more back then because there was a lot of aggro. Being quite hard pressed to score it now, but we'll see. And then everything else is out. Oh no, Denial. 3rd end phase cards. So for those of you that didn't play Shadespire, 3rd end phase cards are cards that you just score in the 3rd end phase. They're very rare now because of how strong all the other cards are. But this would be score this in the 3rd end phase if there are no enemy fighters in your territory. If you're playing aggro and you plan on killing everyone, that's brilliant. In this day and age, it's not a great card, if I'm being honest. But the rules I've set myself for this first round, it has to stay in. Probably something I'll change in the near future. So we need to take out some cards. You will notice that there are only 3 surges. I am going to, when it comes to the objectives, I don't want to handicap myself too much with this. So I am going to make it so I have 6. So I do need to choose 4 surge objectives. Try to keep them as relevant as these cards here. Okay. That's going to be tough. But let's look at this and see what we can find. So, precise use of force, that needs to come out. A Shadespire card, score immediately if you dealt exactly enough damage to take the target out of action. Something killy. Ooh, strong start maybe. But is that restricted? Strong start? I think so. Let's go with strong start. Okay. I'm playing aggro, so yeah, strong start makes sense. Alone in the Darkness. This was such a good card. They've recently reintroduced this into Warhammer Underworlds Online, which feel free to check that video out because I did discuss those cards. If there are no adjacent fighters on the battlefield, 2 glory. It was great because you could score that if you were dead. So it kind of kept you in a game sometimes. But alas, we can't do that. Maybe Loner. Loner's probably the closest thing for that. It is only 1 glory, but I'm playing aggro. Loner's not going to cut it. Okay. Loner doesn't cut it. So I think what I'll do, I will hold back that place for one of the surges. Assassinate, score this in end phase if your warband took an enemy leader out of action in the preceding action phase. I mean, I've already got 2 cards like that, and I don't want to stack that kind of too heavy. I mean, it's great if you have all 3 in your hand and you kill the boss, but you're shackling yourself a little bit these days. So Assassinate will be put aside for one of the surges. Brawl, score this in end phase. All friendly fighters, at least 3 are adjacent to enemy fighters. There's not really anything similar to that. So Brawl will be put aside for one of the surges. Flawless Strategy, score this in an end phase if you scored 2 or more other objective cards in this phase. I can swap that out for Solid Gains. I think that seems like a similar card. So let's have a look at Solid Gains. Score this in end phase if you gained at least 3 glory points in this round. Fine. If you scored 2 objective cards, you probably may have scored 3 glory. Okay, and then Ploy Master. Score this in an end phase if you played 3 or more ploys in the preceding action phase. New Orcs have it. These guys don't. Frenzied Search. That's Here's an end phase card. I need to get rid of that. Let's have a look at hot tournament cards, see what we can replace that with. So I think it makes sense because I have a kind of quite a few weapons. Lethal Repertoire. So score this in an end phase if a friendly fighter made an attack action in the preceding action phase, printed on an upgrade that you played in the same phase. So I think that makes sense because I do have I've got 3 weapons there. Yeah, we'll go with that. So Ploy Master comes out. Flawless Strategy comes out. And then Contained, basically the opposite to Denial. Score this in the end phase if all surviving enemy fighters are in their territory. It's not really. Let's have a look at the Orc cards. Biggest and the best. Score this in end phase if your leader took an enemy fighter out of action in the preceding action phase. There's more of us. Score this in end phase if you have more fighters on the battlefield than your opponent. Potentially, although there's a lot of horde stuff. Good scrap. Score this end phase if 3 or more fighters were taken out of action in the preceding action phase. I'm going to replace it with biggest and the best. I'm going to do biggest and the best. Score this in an end phase if your leader took an enemy fighter out of action in the preceding action phase. But if he dies, this is a tough one because it's the last end phase card. Biggest and the best. Good scrap. Good scrap. Good scrap. We'll go with that because if I lose people as well, that's fine. Okay. Okay, cool. So the last 3 surges, let's have a look. Oh, we're looking at, let's see what the orc ones are. Dead Cunning, score this made a friendly fighter has 2 more spark. Don't have that. Too dumb to die. That's very rarely going to go off. So now let's look at hot tournament cards. Let's be lazy. Cover Ground, never get that. Treacherous Foe, oh these need universal ones. Cover Ground, never going to score that. Branching Fate, rarely score that. Martyred, no. What Armor, possibly. But that does rely on me getting that card out. That's a possibility. Brought to base for Hunters, Frantic Exchange. No, I don't like that. Show of Force. Show of Force, I'm going to be playing aggro, so that will go in. Swift Capture. Temporary Victory, Unexpected Pitfall. Bold Conquest. Oh, 2 more. I mean, Hidden Purpose, it just seems lazy to put that in. I don't want to put that in. Okay, swap it out for popular cards. Hidden Purpose, it keeps looking at me. Gather Momentum, scored the second or subject. Oh, not quick enough. Not quick enough. It's all exactly the same. Here we go. Change of Fortunes. Steadfast Defender. Victorious Duel. I've already got that in. Fateful Strike. Possibly. Okay, no, I'm not doing any token flipping. Giant Slayer. Tempting Target. Master of Terrain. Get the hints. I do have one of my fighters when they inspire has cleave as well. Let's go with What's Armor. And then one more surge, and then we're there. Hidden Purpose, it's just too easy. It's too easy. Hidden Purpose. Yeah, It's too easy to put. No. So there we go. I've tweaked it. What do you think? Ironskulls, the main problem with this deck. Is aggro the main problem with this deck? There's a few, like Annihilation and Denial. I'm looking at that as two kind of problematic cards there already, and the fact that Victorious Duel and Get the Boss are in there as well could cause me problems too. If, for example, I play someone, they see that I've got that Victorious Duel, Get the Boss and Denial, second and third game they can play around that quite easily. But we'll see. It's a long league. I'm playing Tommy on Thursday. This video is probably going to be, I'm probably going to put this video up while I'm playing Tommy. So wish me luck. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.